Okay. Hello. I'm host Eric.
Hey,
This
how
is
are you?
I'm well. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Um so I usually begin these things by asking the person to give me a little bit of information about their background in typology, how much they know about cognitive functions and type and stuff like that.
Mm, I've been learning about those things for probably 5 years or something like that.
Okay.
And I would say that I know mm, I know it pretty well, but I'm always eager to learn more.
Okay. Um when you leave the house, you often have to come back and get something you forgot, like your phone or your keys.
Mm, Probably more so than other people, yeah.
Okay. It's interesting that you distinguished the specific comparison against. Um, can you think of another way in which that question could be interpreted versus instead of just uh, in comparison to other people?
Mm, well, against some sort of objective uh, metric of how much time it happens every week or something like this that someone would set.
Okay. I guess you could also say, do you do it a lot compared to how you used to do it?
Yeah.
But do you do the same as how you used to do it, or more or less?
mm, Probably less because I've made the demands on myself less stressful compared to, let's say, when I was in school and stuff like that.
Your bookshelf looks pretty tidy.
Yeah.
Did you tidy up before this video?
No, that's actually my friend's room.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. So that's good to know. I won't draw any conclusions from what I see then.
Yeah.
Okay. Um. All right. What does your shirt say underneath the heart?
It says I love rock and roll.
Oh, that's a good shirt. I love rock and roll too.
Yeah.
Um.
Do you know what it means? Rock and roll.
Yeah. It
In
refers to sexual intercourse, I believe.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And do you, in fact, enjoy sexual intercourse?
Yeah, I would say.
Are you in a long-term relationship or are you
Yeah.
dating?
Not long term, but 4 months.
4 months. Okay. Um, do you prefer to be in relationships in general? Are you comfortable dating, or some
I
different?
prefer to be in a relationship, I would say.
What is it you prefer of being in a relationship?
Mm, the meaning and the connection. Um, I did when I was young. I did, let's say,
Play the field.
yeah, and the feeling I remember from it is meaninglessness and just you're not building anything, and if you keep doing it, I guess you're gonna end up alone, of course. And so I would say that trying to really connect with people is a better long-term strategy. Something like that.
Long term, do you think you want to have children?
Yeah, I want to have 10 children.
10? Really?
Yeah, why not?
You really want to have 10 children?
Yeah, something like this.
So when you look for a woman, do you look for broad hips?
I I guess I mean I would look for health and even though I mean I hope that I would, but usually I have all those strategies in my head, but then it just always comes down to do I like her and do I find her
Okay.
So yeah.
Let's get into that. How long does it take you to determine how much you like somebody?
Mm, Usually not so long, but I don't really like to trust those grounds. Even though might have the feeling that I like someone, I don't. I try to look for probably objective things that I can rely on to reassure myself more so than my own feelings, I would say.
Okay. Now, what kind of objective cues do you look for? Things like levels of conflict or what?
Mm,
What
I
are
would
some red
say
flags? Let me ask it. Let me ask this question a little differently. What comprise red flags for you? You go, okay, not this chick because she always hits me in the face for the purse when she turns to the left.
probably emotional stability is a big one. I can't really deal so well with people that just can burst out in emotion randomly and things like that. I don't deal with that kind of thing super well. And red flags would be mm, the the archetypal party girl, and she, I don't know, she doesn't, she has like, she's full of tattoos, doesn't really care about her health. Those things I would like shy away from, just because I have my own goals with, like I said before, with the children and stuff. That
Mm.
wouldn't really be suiting her, and obviously she wants to. Those types of girls want to do something else with their life, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. What do you make any kind of media? Write or make videos or make music or anything like that?
I actually started 1 year ago video game development with my brother and 3 colleagues.
Mm.
So I guess that would count as media.
Okay.
But we've not, apart from small assets here and there, we've not been publishing our big works yet. So it's, I would be no to that question, but it's probably coming in the future.
Okay. Um, what do you think about aesthetics in general? Where do you think your own instincts are best? Are they better at determining? Like, let's say I was going to take you to three different art exhibits. One of them showed images on the wall, like a gallery with pictures on the wall, okay? And one of them was a library of poems, basically, and had poems on the
Mhm.
wall that you read. And then the third one, it was a gallery of songs, and each of the little things at the wall had headphones. You listen to the song, right? And you're asked to pick which thing is best at each location. Which location are you going to be most correct at? Is the first question.
So the first one is poetry, the second one is songs, and what was the third one?
Images. The first one's images, just like paintings or whatever.
And the goal would be that I would be good to interpret them.
But you're
Which one would be?
look. There's a panel of, or actually there's been the general populace has come in and viewed all these works in all three museums. Okay, and they've
Mhm.
all voted. And your goal is to pick the one that's the most popular, the one that most people liked who voted. Assuming that the vote is fair, that none of the artists have gamed it at all. Nobody's sending just their people to go vote en masse or whatever. It's totally random and fair. Um, Now, your job is to go into each of these three museums, the Image
Mhm.
Museum, the Poetry Museum, and the Music Museum, and pick the one piece in each of the museums that won the popular vote. Where are you most going to be right?
Probably the poetry, but I would feel confident in the three of them, I would say.
You feel confident in all three.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think in the poetry one, you'd be better at it the more you read the poems, or do you think that just through a quick read through of them, you'd be able to sort of glean which one you think is better? And do you think that would change depending on like if it were
What you think existing too? Same question for the images and the music.
I would probably glean, but also benefit from reading more. But I could stop at just have a quick glance and be comfortable with that. But then, if I go into details, it's just gonna cement my opinion, probably.
do you write anything?
Do I write?
Yeah.
Not really, except from communication with others, I guess.
All right. Well,
Are
if
you
hold
actively
on,
creative in
Isaiah,
some way?
hold on. If you were asked, I already asked this question.
Oh, okay.
If you were asked to produce a piece for each of these three museums, which one do you think you'd do best on the popular vote on?
Well, definitely poetry then.
Okay. So, you feel pretty comfortable with language.
More so than the other two, yeah.
Okay. Isaiah, I'm going to go stand over there and try to cough out this cough. See, right now, because I didn't have time to go to the weed store this morning before we did this thing, because it doesn't open until 10 o'clock, so I'm smoking the free pre-roll joints that they give you at the weed store with a little bit of concentrate on top of it. And it's making me cough a lot. So I'm going to go over there for a second, cough it out a bit, and smoke a cigarette, and let you take over for a minute, please, Isaiah. Thank you for understanding.
All right. So hold on a minute. How far into this are we? What have we gone over so far?
It's only been 15 minutes.
Okay. All right. So, what kind of stuff like if you were in a room by yourself doing there's nothing to really pay attention to or fiddle around with, you're sort of just left alone in your thoughts. What kind of stuff do you think you'd think about? Where would your mind go?
I would say big metaphysical things like where society is going, and are we going down the right path, and questioning things of those kinds, I would say.
So you wouldn't go to anything. You wouldn't go to anything more like personal in your personal life, or
I guess I could
go over any plans or anything like that.
Yeah, I do have plans, like long-term stuff that I want to do, and but if you said like if I was in a room and that there was nothing to do, so I would tend to go more towards just thinking about those abstractions that I told you, but more so than if I want to do something would be I would like to have access to actually start implementing and thinking as I go along, rather than
You'd probably think of things that are more like permanently so and don't really change outside of like who's thinking about it and when and what context. Maybe more
compared to
like you wouldn't think of things that are more like particular. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I don't know. I might think about that kind of stuff too, but I mean, well, no, I don't know what I'm talking about. I lost track of where I was going with that.
Like I said, I could like think about the particular, but then not really in the precise context you described. With I don't have access to doing things. I only have access to thinking. Then I would refrain from thinking about the particular because I couldn't act on it so much.
Okay.
That would be my response.
So how did you answer what kind of stuff do you create?
Well, he asked me if I do media, and I said that I started 1 year ago developing video games with 4 of my friends.
Oh, cool.
Then that would be the answer to that one.
So how do you go about creating art?
Creating art,
Yeah.
well, I'm not really on the art part. I only do the modeling, sculpting of characters, and the big art things like the 2D and the environments and stuff like that is left to other people in the team. And my main role in the team is actually designing the game itself and the rules and the systems and the coherence and how it all fits together, things like this.
I gotcha. Okay. Do you find it easier to sculpt together something and cobble it together until you have it just how you want it, or do you find it easier just to kind of create stuff and then judge afterward if it's any good?
The second one.
The second one?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're more like machine gun stuff out and then see.
I would be comfortable with it, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, me too. Have you done any like SI tests on him or anything like that?
Repeat this?
No,
Sorry.
Oh, sorry, that was for Eric.
So I didn't hear that.
Yeah. Have you done any like SI tests on him or anything like that?
No, let me ask a couple of general SI questions. How many hours of sleep do you get a night, do you think?
8 to 9, I would say.
How many do you feel like you need?
Eight to 9, yeah.
And if you don't get enough sleep, what happens?
I don't really notice, probably, would be my answer to that.
If you were to wake up one morning, right out of bed, and I were to ask you, hey, you're just bleary-eyed, did you get enough sleep last night? How would you determine the answer to that question?
How I feel in that moment, rested or not.
What does it feel like to feel not rested?
Energy against just wanting to go back to bed.
Tell me if this is familiar to you. You're in a cranky mood, and you've been sort of in a cranky mood for a few hours, and then you realize about, sort of going into it, oh shit, I haven't eaten in 16 hours.
Yeah, that can happen to me, definitely.
All
Okay.
right. So, would people in general, in the colloquial sense of the word, just in the sort of common parlance, would people deem you more introverted or extroverted? Other people.
Introverted, I would say.
And would you consider yourself, in the common sense of the word, to be more display as introverted than extroverted?
Yeah.
Okay, so, for example, let's say that somebody were to say, John, on this upcoming Thursday, 4 days from now or whatever, 2 days from now, let's say this upcoming Saturday. This upcoming Saturday, there is going to be a ping pong tournament that I would like you to go with us, and we're going to have a great time.
Would love to.
An exciting ping pong tournament. Are you willing to commit to going right now?
And how likely are you to like say that you want to go, and then as soon as Saturday rolls around, you're like, actually, I kind of
I
don't
would
want to do
prefer
this.
to say that I might come, and
Hmm.
if it's possible to
Okay.
have the option left on the table.
Listen, I'm gonna buy you a ticket. It's gonna be on me. But these are $400 tickets. these are, these are
Yeah,
really
then
nice seats. We got the best seats at the ping pong tournament. Okay, so I need to know for sure that you're gonna go before I buy you the ticket. I gotta buy them right
but
now
then
because they're
then I
going
would
fast. They are going fast.
I would just come because I like ping pong.
Okay, cool. I would like to go see a ping pong tournament too. I've never been to one. Have you ever been to a ping pong tournament?
Actually,
Never been.
I have
I've
been.
never been to one.
You have been to one?
Yeah, I have been to one because my
That's
mother
awesome, dude.
actually played professionally.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so weird. So what if it was something? See, I tried to pick something that was unusual that you would
Yeah.
probably not have any experience with. What about if it were a badminton tournament?
A badminton tournament. Actually, been to one of those also.
Oh,
'Cause
Jesus.
a friend played that in high school.
What are you, Captain Weird Sports or something?
I don't know, they're pretty cool. It's
I like both those sports, but they are unusual at least.
yeah.
Okay, well, what if it's just an undefined party mixer type thing? Like, oh, there's some people hanging out and we're having cocktails and it's on Saturday afternoon and it's on the roof of my buddy's apartment complex.
I would be less inclined to go to those things than the sports thing, unless there's some people that I find really interesting going there. I would say.
Now, what if you were asked to go participate in a badminton tournament as a doubles partner for somebody? Oh, Joe broke his ankle. I need a fill in last minute. Can you be my badminton partner?
That would be even better.
You like that? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you go seek out those kind of physical activities?
Not really, but I wish I had more of those.
How many different ways can you think of to get out of a family activity without telling a lie? The activity is you got to go over to Aunt Maggie's house for casserole on Thursday because it's Maggie's birthday. But you just, you hate her and you don't want to go.
Well, then I would just say that I hate her and I don't want to go. Would be my first pick.
Okay.
Um,
That's not going to
I'm
work.
sorry. I've already got an inkling of where we're gonna go in typing him, and that is so consistent with it.
Well, let's see. Let's see. Okay, but go on. You keep talking, John. I interrupted you. You go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
then you said not to lie. So if I have to work, I would just say that I need to work. If I have to go someplace else, I would say that I need to go someplace else.
No, you don't have
I
to do
also
any of those things.
okay.
What you really want to do is sit at home and play computer games. Okay. Now,
Okay.
the thing is, though, you can't tell.
But if I can't lie, I'm pretty then just stuck with reality, right?
Isaiah, would you feel like you were stuck with reality under those conditions?
If you can't lie,
A little
right?
bit. I don't know.
Or
I mean,
I
you
think-
could
I
then
say,
I'm gonna have to be delusional.
I
That
mean,
would be
you could say, listen, you don't understand. There's malaise about me, and this malaise is preventing me from going to this thing tonight. I don't know what to tell you. That's not lying.
Well,
I'm
then-
currently under the spell of sleep paralysis.
Listen, I would totally go if circumstances were different, but the way things are right now, I don't know.
But I feel like that's breaking the rule of not lying a little bit,
How is
right?
that not lying? How is that lying?
It depends on the definition
I
of
would
not lying.
totally go if the circumstances were completely different. If I wanted to, the circumstances would be different. Just leaving that part out. Right? Look,
Okay.
I'm sure that for the right person, this activity, going to a magic's house, is the best idea imaginable. I'm not that person.
But it's
I
all different way of saying the same thing, right? That you're not
Right,
going.
different ways of saying the same thing is correct. Let's try some more any tests here and see what we come
Okay.
up with. Uh, how many synonyms can you think of for the word righteous?
Mm, righteous.
Granted, this is a bit of an iffy test because English is not your first language, I'm guessing.
Mhm.
So a little qualification there.
Does noble, I guess, fit? I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Um, mm, mm, admirable.
Okay. How many different reasons can you think to justify the United States invading Canada?
Because they want to learn French. Because they want to steal the
I've
snow.
never thought of that one before. I like it.
They want to get to Greenland through them. Um,
Good
they
reason.
want, they want to um, enjoy the good cuisine. And what else? So many reasons that they could have. They
Okay.
want to um, get the land for themselves. They want to.
Okay, all right, good enough. Um, hmm. Uh, that kind of blows. That sort of blows up STP. Those are very interesting
Oh yeah,
reasons.
I don't think he's an STP of any kind.
I did briefly for a stretch. I was thinking he might be
I,
an
I could
STP.
see, I could see if that you might have thought that he's got that sort of same like
Matter of factness.
yeah.
Uh,
Um,
so I guess we're both leaning NTP, right? Or
I
do you,
was leaning somewhere
are
else.
you leaning NFP?
No.
Okay, well let's do some TI tests. We got a TI test you.
All
Okay.
right. Um,
Yeah, two NTPs, right? Are so it's like there's like a fundamental similarity to the approach to things in general and interfacing with the world that Isaiah Rude and I have. You can just sort of see, right? The way that we
Mhm.
both meow from meow. We both take the lead, of course. Isaiah's having to adjust to being in a sort of a subordinate role here because it's just not native to the ENTP nature. Okay,
To be subordinate is not native, you mean? To
right.
ENTP?
Yeah. It's like we want to take the lead and we
Okay.
want to actively into it, you know?
Okay.
Okay, so it's not like we want to lead. We just want to fill the space ourselves.
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, we'll say the same like filler things at the same time, and
Uh-huh. Okay, so you go for a while, Edward. I just derailed myself with
all
that
right,
line of thinking.
okay. Um, so if only potatoes fly, and all things that fly are red, and all things that are red are attached to the ground, then can we necessarily say that
Can you repeat the
all
second?
potatoes are attached to the ground?
If only potatoes
Fly.
fly,
Mm-hmm.
and all things that fly are red, and all things that are red are attached to the ground, can we say that all potatoes are attached to the ground?
I kind of fucked that one up a little bit, but that's fine.
It's an interesting question
Yeah,
regardless.
but then they're not flying anymore.
Yeah, but then they're not flying. So okay, correct. Contradictory premises. It's invalid. It's invalid if assuming
Right.
that being attached to the ground is contradicting
Flying.
flying. Okay, good point. All right, let me ask you a different question. So, if there are 4 seashells in a pantry and 3 pantries in a coven, how many seashells are in a coven?
Can you repeat?
There are 4 seashells in a pantry and 3 pantries in a coven. How many seashells are there in a coven?
What's a coven?
It's the thing that's made of 3 pantries.
Then 3.
Now, how many seashells are there in a coven?
4 times 3 then?
Yeah. There are, in fact, 12 seashells in a coven.
Okay.
Yeah. Of course, there's 13 seashells in a baker's coven.
Okay. So if well, okay, I'll just give you a genealogy because I'll try to make this a little simple though.
Or don't overdo
Yeah.
yourself. Okay.
I got this. Have some faith.
I do.
Okay. In relation to me, who is my father's brothers, wife's son's father's only son?
Can you repeat?
Yes. Who is, in relation to me, my father's brothers, wife's son's father's only son?
I feel like I would have to write down to
I want to hear
find
it
it.
again. Can you say it again?
Yeah. In relation to me, who is my father's brothers, wife's, or I should say only brothers too.
Okay.
So it's father's brothers, only brothers, wife's sons, father's only son.
The contradictory premises. How can he have a
Did it?
brother and be the only son?
Oh, sorry, not only. Okay, sorry, yeah, not only son, just son.
Well,
Then,
no,
but then
the
it could be
answer.
either one. Yeah.
All right.
Only grandson, but then that's really easy.
Oh, that's not too easy. That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Isaiah Root, let me try a genealogy question for you. We'll start simpler, okay, and work our way up. Can you tell me who my father's wife is?
Your grandmother.
Okay. Who is my mother's husband's only son's mother's sister's kid?
Your cousin.
Okay. All right. How do you feel about generally social grace and stuff like that? If I were to put you in a room and various people were already there and had a dynamic amongst them, there were 4 or 5 people in the room, how quickly would you be able to deduce the social hierarchies implied and other social implications of that environment?
Very quickly, but acting on it is a different story.
Tell me how you feel about the following statement. Don't talk to me with that tone. Would you ever find yourself saying this? And if someone told you this, how would you respond to that?
I could say something like this to someone if I feel like it's warranted and I'm disrespected or something. But just as a tool, really, than anything else. It's not like
So you
it's not like I really feel anything from it, but it's just so that I can use it to calm that person or something like this.
I gotcha.
Is anybody likely to say it to you?
Never had that happen to me, I think.
I feel like I've got him fairly well narrowed down to two possible types, I think.
I mean, yeah, I'm kind of, I'm in between a few, I think.
All right, so have you watched, John? Have you watched enough or any TWFP videos about like TI questions and stuff before? How do you generally deal on the TI stuff?
Um, mm, I would say it's somewhat easy for me.
Okay. So it's like, I guess, it would seem that you've got extroverted intuition, introverted thinking, somewhere fairly high up there. Um, but in theory, it could be introverted intuition and introverted thinking. So, it's like, and I mean, basically, I'm sort of got you narrowed down to either INTP or INFJ. You don't exactly vibe as an INFJ does normally, but that's not a good reason for anything per se. Your TI seems a little robust, maybe for third slot, which is a better reason to think INTP.
I'm actually I'm kind of leaning INTP. I mean, now I am. Like before, I was kind of thinking he might be an INTJ, but
Oh.
um,
Well, we should probably try to make some more efforts to eliminate that. He doesn't.
Yeah.
That's one where I do tend to trust my vibe instincts a little bit more. You just don't vibe me as an INTJ.
that's the thing though, is that first of all, it's hard to get that sort of cadence from him because he's
He's a
he doesn't
non-English native
exactly.
speaker, non-native English speaker, right? Yeah, okay.
But
well,
he
you got a
had
point
that
there.
exact same when he said it was that answer. He would just tell Aunt Maggie that he hates her and not go. It's totally an INTJ response to that.
I don't think he said he would tell her.
I
he
thought
hates
I
her.
would say to the other people.
I would just tell her I hate her. 'Cause
Hunters.
what else am I gonna do?
You wouldn't tell him Maggie directly, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see.
Unless
Have you
it's
ever heard the? You ever heard the troll question before?
The troll?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna try to ask you this troll question, and it's kind of an undertaking to ask this question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway as quickly as I can.
Okay.
You got to pretend you are the mayor of a Middle Ages town, or the duke, or the king, or whatever. Okay, the head guy.
Okay.
And in this town, the town's split in two by a river. On one side of the river are all the farms and all the food supplies and stuff. On the other side of the river, the merchants and the townspeople. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a late season storm and late in the fall comes in and it washes away your bridge. And lo and behold, with the absence of a bridge, who should come reside in your river but a river troll? And this river troll is a creature that has one magical power, and that is anytime anybody transports food across the river in a boat, he runs up to the boat really quick before they can even see him or stop him or anything and steals 10% of it. And he says that this is a troll tax, that he's taking this tax because he's protecting your city from threats from the river, and that's why he deserves 10% of your food. Now, you have just enough food stored up to feed everybody all the way through the winter. If the troll takes 10%, you're going to have some starvations. And the townspeople are clamoring for you to do something about this. Now, as the mayor, you can take action in the story. You can ask me, the narrator, questions. You can ask other characters in the story questions. You can consult with people if you want. Basically, you've got more or less limitless reasonable power, but you are limited to the things that they have in the Middle Ages, like you don't have any M40 whatever guns, AK-47 guns or anything like that. Okay, so there you go. What do you do, Mayor?
Do I have access to magic and things like this then?
Well,
If
you
there is
do
a
have
troll?
some people in the town who purport to be magically empowered. They may indeed have some magic powers. We know some magic exists in the story because the troll has magic power.
Then I would try to garner a party of people and try to get rid of the troll. And then I guess I have to build the bridges again, right?
Well, right now, until the troll came, you were just transporting the food back and forth across boats,
Okay.
and that was working fine. But then the troll has this power about being able to steal food.
I would face the problem head on and
Okay.
make a party and people and try to defeat the troll because
Okay,
it's
well,
just gonna get worse.
you're gonna have to be a lot more specific than that, because you
Okay.
get your generals here. They say, okay, well, what do you want us to do here? You want us to just sort of walk over there and shake our fists at him, or what? He's standing in the middle of the
Basically,
river, Mayor. I don't know what we're gonna do. You want us to
try to
swim
use
out
my
there and try to
second,
stab him or something?
my military guy second in command. I would delegate the tactics to him to gather the people to establish some sort of strategy.
Okay, well, here's the plan he comes up with. He says, okay, I got a plan, Mayor. We're gonna take all our boats. We're gonna make a flotilla upriver from the troll, okay? And we're gonna
Hmm.
get our lances and we're gonna float down the river and try to just lance him, just lance the hell out of him. That's my plan. What do you think?
I would do more. I would do that plan, but also have some contingencies with like maybe some other guys doing other things like
Okay, well, what do you want the other guys to do, Mayor?
casting fireballs. Of
We
course.
don't have any wizards to cast fireballs right now, unfortunately. We do have a wizard. He can turn frogs into another species of frog. He has that power. It's really quite impressive. I've seen it happen. It's like the frogs are dramatically different color, even. But that's about it.
What do I have as weapons? Like, can I build giant crossbows? Can I?
Oh, you want me? You mean you're talking about what are those things called? Ballistas.
Yeah, ballistas. Yeah.
You want to build? You have a ballista.
One.
You have one ballista.
Yeah,
It's a little
okay.
old, but with some oil and some TLC, I'm sure it'll work fine.
Okay, then I would use
They
that.
built it today.
Do I have archers and?
You do have archers, however, you should be aware that the the troll is like 12 feet tall. He's got very thick skin. Your archer's arrows don't penetrate his skin. And he also has very stabby, pointy things on him, all over him, um, like thorns on a rose bush, kind of.
Okay, what's my neighbors? Can I ask for help from other
So you're
kingdoms?
really
And
going full blast military solution here, huh?
yeah,
Okay. So you are able to recruit another ballista and a catapult. Plus, they gave you one of those tall things that you can push up against a wall, but you're not really sure if you're going to be able to use it.
where is the troll standing right now?
He's standing in the middle of the river watching you do all this stuff.
Okay.
And he's just sort of shaking his head like, you crazy guys, you. What are you thinking? He doesn't
Can
seem
I?
very intimidated.
Mm, so I only got 2 ballistas from the other kingdom.
So you got 3 total now.
Do they give me men and more firepower,
They
more
give you a
manpower?
few guys, but they're like, hey, look, it's winter. Our guys don't really want to go up there. It's kind of a long ways away. You guys will handle it. We have a lot of faith in your ability up there in Split by Rivertown.
Can I send, let's say, schmoozer people trying to distract the troll as I'm trying to kill him?
Okay,
Who's the troll?
You send a battalion of schmoozers. You send a battalion of schmoozers out to schmooze the troll. Hey there, troll. How you doing, dog? And the troll's like, I like these guys. They're pretty cool. But
Maybe.
I can't help but notice, schmoozers, that you seem to have some ballistas and catapults and stuff over there, and some
Oh, is
archers
that
up there.
part the troll? Okay. Also, then I would.
They're on the boat, the schmoozers, by the way. So,
They're on the boat.
they have to schmooze boat side troll.
Is
His
the
games are
troll
a little
open
ways away.
to have his psychological problem analyzed and maybe
Sure, he's
try
willing
to
to talk.
direct his anger
All right,
somewhere else?
hey
To,
mayor, hey mayor, listen. Let's stop all these games here. You want to talk to me? Just talk to me. I'm right here in the middle of the river. You yell from over there. I'll yell from over here. We'll be fine.
okay, then I would no, that's I would try to see why he is doing this,
Why
what
am I
he's
doing
doing.
this? Because I don't want your community ravaged by river sharks who go up on the land, steal your children, steal their wives, steal your children's wives. You know,
And that's a real concern that I have, what he's saying, or that's a lie.
well, you've never experienced it before, but he claims that before the bridge stopped them. Yeah, it used to be the bridge stopped them. Now I'm here stopping them. If I go away, you will have an infestation of sharks from the river, stealing your children, stealing your wives and your livestock all day long.
Why doesn't the troll want to find a trolless and start a family somewhere?
I do want that. And that's why I'm willing to negotiate with you. If you can find me a troll woman, I will take 7% instead of 10% of your food.
But then he needs to take care of his children, so he would have to go somewhere else.
No. I don't you worry about me. I don't need to eat your food. I just take it for because part of the tax. I send it
Okay.
down river to the troll exchange where I get it turned into troll dollars eventually.
Well, it seems like the troll is just as obtuse as I am, so I would go back to the military solution and just
Okay, so you're
attack.
gonna launch this attack with your guys down the river on boats and a flotilla with lances and your ballista shooting its big crossbow
I would
arrows at him.
also archers also,
Also the
even though he gets a thick skin, they would try to aim for his eyes or his ass or anything that they can pierce.
Okay, well,
I would
you
I
launched
would
the
use it.
attack, and I've got some good news and the bad news. I'll give you the bad news first.
I didn't say that I wanted to launch the
Oh, you
attack
didn't
yet.
launch the attack yet. Okay,
I wanna have better odds probably.
he's just
Uh,
waiting to see what you're gonna do. All your troops are out there. It's cold. It's nighttime.
how
It's
come I have only
frustrating out
one
there.
neighbor that
Because you're
comes
an
to help me?
isolated, you are an isolated town. That's why.
Uh, could we just leave this place and go farm somewhere else?
Okay, what about all the buildings and stuff that you've built
We can
over the
just rebuild
years?
them.
Oh, you can just rebuild them? You can't.
Yeah,
You can't even begin rebuilding the bridge until spring. You're going to rebuild your whole town in the middle of winter in a snowdrift. You're going
yeah,
to
we can
uproot all
make
your people
mud
and go live
houses.
someplace else.
We're pretty crafty. We suck at military apparently, but
You
we can
can't-
rebuild our mud houses and.
if you can't even get rid of one troll, are you sure you're that crafty?
Mm,
He decided not to launch the attack yet. Let me get my cigarettes.
I guess I would just attack then.
Okay, I've got my
Just
cigarettes.
attack and take my loss because it's too bad. It's just gonna get worse if I accept that kind of behavior.
Okay, well, Isaiah, what do you think about this? What do you think this is telling us about him?
I love that he went pretty soon into it to schmoozing the troll. That was. I don't know. I don't know that I would have thought of doing that. I mean, I know people have sort of gone that route before, but also, I think there's a. I think your TI. I mean, that solidifies that. I mean, I think your TI front stack, the way that you TIFE front stack, the way I think you approach that, you didn't really have a lot of regard for solvency in this situation, But I mean, I'll let Eric,
I mean, I
say
would say
the
that
more solvency oriented answer to
the
that.
thing is, here's the thing: you take a straight up approach of trying to kill the troll, which is a fairly normal thing to do and a fairly
Mhm.
straightforward solution to the thing. Um, there, if I were to say, uh, what about solutions that don't involve killing the troll, but nevertheless solve the problem? Could you come up with any?
Well, that was leaving, right?
Okay, leaving, yeah, but that doesn't really solve the problem because you still want to be by the river. And if you go upriver, you can just come upriver after you've rebuilt your whole new city up there.
I mean, I guess folding
Folding,
and paying
paying,
the taxes, and but
Letting people starve.
letting people starve would be,
I mean, it
a
would be another
compromise.
solution that the one I took, which was to kill him, right? But yeah, I wouldn't really take that one more so because it's just giving too much power away, and with this attitude, trying to schmoozing, and he was telling me 7% and things like that. It's like he's trying to make a fool out of me. So I would he's just gonna abuse me. So I really, really need to kill him, basically.
Okay.
Uh, and other solutions. Seems like I'm getting shut down by the narrator also every time that I'm trying to think of something. Um, so mm, increasing the water flow upside so that it just gets flushed away. I don't know,
That's a
something
good
like this.
solution. Actually, damming up the river
Yeah,
and then letting it loose all at once to try to wash the troll away. I've never heard that before. That's an interesting one.
I like it.
and
That would work.
It might. I don't know. I've never heard it before. I think if you did it well enough, it would. Um, the troll would probably be like, okay, this place is. These guys are nuts. They're damming the river.
yeah,
I don't know if you could really dam it in the middle of winter though. It's a pretty big and deep river. I've already established that in multiple attempts at the narrow. I think it'd be
Mhm.
very difficult to dam it. But maybe if you found a narrow spot up higher in the river,
yeah.
that
Poison the water in some sense. I guess he has to drink it sometimes. So it would probably fuck me more than him. So
You
yeah,
could build a well.
that's
yeah.
true. Um, so the so-called best answer is move the people, not the food. You just move the people to the food, and the food never crosses the river troll never takes it.
That would have been the best answer,
Well,
or
that's
the
sort of the neatest answer. That's the NI answer.
Mhm.
Uh, but it's obviously you can't do that all winter long. Move everybody across the river to have dinner. you know, everybody back across to go to bed, and then back across to have breakfast. But if you do it for a couple of weeks, the troll will go away because he's not getting anything.
Oh, suddenly it's very nice.
He's not nice. He just wants to go someplace where he gets something.
Okay.
And he determines that he'll wait a week and then it'll be like, shit, I haven't gotten anything in a week. I'm wasting my time here. These people are too stubborn. I'm going to go someplace that's a little bit, it's not as clever as that. If you try to attack him by boat, see, that's the thing. The general will always suggest attacking him by flotilla with lances. And
Yeah.
that's a suicide mission because he just swims underneath the boats and tips them over.
Yeah. Plus, he has a resistant skin, so it's
Yeah.
kind of
Now the lances could pierce his skin, but it be they have a hard time getting to him because he's super good in the water, right? Um, I actually
yeah.
made this one a little harder for you than I have for some people in the past. I've given them access to more heavy artillery, your catapults and your
Yeah.
ballistas. Okay,
My
I've
people were
limited your
not very
access to them
developed.
a bit, just to see what you do with it. But it is possible to kill him, but you have to sneak attack him. So you have to gather up all your shit and wait till night, and then go up near the side of the river and shoot it at him, or else he'll just
Okay.
stand there and he'll just step out of the way of it.
Of course.
So I've asked this question to so many different people that it's developed into like this choose your own adventure kind of
Yeah.
a thing where it's got set lines of narrative that always go the same way.
Okay.
Anyhow, I'm still thinking probably NTP over STP. I'm thinking one of the two. I haven't
Yeah,
eliminated
I'm leaning
STP.
NTP.
Yeah, I haven't eliminated STP. I don't think you're NFJ. Did you come in thinking you were INTP or possibly ESTP?
I came in thinking I am INTP. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that makes more sense than ESTP for all the other reasons. I'm just thinking that we haven't really explicitly tested the extroverted intuition test yet, but your answer about Canada was you gave such creative answers that it was kind of like indisputable. You gave like 5 or 6 of them, and we're ready to go with more of them. I've never heard either to invade Greenland, which I think is a great reason. Well, we gotta get to Greenland, of course. That's why we invaded Canada. We're just going through you. Don't worry about it, Canada. We're after that nasty Greenland up there.
Or to learn French.
That's a
I
great
like that
one.
one.
And to learn French also. I've never heard that one
Yeah.
before. That's a great one. To steal their snow, I think it was the second one you said,
Yeah.
was also an interesting one. So, based on just sort of those answers alone, I'm gonna go NTP because not only are they interesting and clever answers, but they're funny as well, which is another sort of NTP cue. STPs don't are less likely to ideate for humor. I think substantially less likely to ideate for humor, more likely
Hmm.
to go for like physical clownings, which is another kind of humor,
Yeah.
like
Okay.
like
Foolery.
tomfoolery and like Three Stooges y stuff, like
Yeah.
poke,
Or like, jumping out and scaring you at the right time and
yeah,
stuff
like
like that.
that kind of humor. Whereas NTPs are more likely to learn French. That's
Yeah. Well, it's easy when there is no conditions, right?
right. Yeah. Well, for any users, exactly. So good. I think you're an INTP. I think that you had typed yourself correctly. I think that any that for you with extroverted intuition as a tool function, there's always still lingering conditionalities. Whether those conditionalities are are big enough to tantamount to doubt, to amount to doubt, is another question. But it's like just being an extroverted intuition tool user means you basically everything in life you will constantly apply. Yeah, but what if, yeah?
Hmm.
Yeah, there was the that part of the troll question I forgot to address where he basically kept waiting for more deliberation instead of just attacking the troll and just
Well,
kind
he,
of
he
seeing what
could
happens.
tell that wasn't going to end well. He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa,
Right.
I haven't taken my hand off the chess piece yet.
I think in ENTP, first of all, just fucking do it. Let's just see. Like,
Let's see what happens. If I
you
lose some men, it's fine. They just
Yeah.
pretend anyway.
Yeah. let's just do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that seems
I
pretty.
watched one of your video when you said it's the worst tool function, I think.
It's the worst tool function. Well,
Yeah.
it's kind of not necessarily the best tool function because you do tend to be like, okay, wait, hold on, we don't need to make a decision yet. Let's not be hasty here.
Yeah.
We could talk this out some more. We could think this out some more. Of course, some things in life you kind of do have to be like, all right, talking,
Yeah.
thinking, time's done. I don't like that occasion either, really. Being an extroverted, intuition dominant person, I also am a big believer in, whoa, we can always talk things out some more here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I have noticed like when I approach subject over time, I just keep producing ideas about things, even when it's I guess not productive anymore, or I should be using more SI, I guess, to just stick with the same. But it's like
No, you
I
should be
can't
using
control
more
my brain.
SE. No, you should be using more SE to execute that which has already been decided. Your SE polar doesn't even recognize it as such. It's hilarious.
Okay.
Do you find that you want to like conserve your energy more than expend it?
Yeah, but isn't SI a form of like careful implementation?
No,
That
SI is
no?
keeping track of it. Okay, keeping track of
Okay.
what you want to do. Now, to keep track of what you want to do, you have to be firmly decided on what you want to do. This is a problem for any DOMs and any tool function people. We're always conditionally decided on what we want to do until we
Okay.
actually do it. Okay,
Yeah.
and that's why our SI is keeping track of it, but it's only keeping track of it conditionally.
Yeah.
And so the SE part is the problem that gives both NTP types problems. It's like,
Yeah.
now I know I said I'd like to do that, but that's not the same thing as saying I'm going to do that. And
Yeah. But it's worse for me, SE, than for an ENTP, right?
it's worse for you than for an NTP. And
Oh yeah,
for me, my SE eventually kicks in and goes, "Come on, Eric, let's just get some shit done. Who cares if it's any good?"
And what's
well,
the
really,
workaround?
it kicks in without you even thinking about it most of the time.
I mean, that's the workaround, John. Is the answer is those words. Just get some shit done. Who cares if it's any good? You gotta
Okay.
practice saying those words.
Yeah, I do
Just
that.
get some shit done. Who cares if it's any good? Those
Okay.
are the magic words that I think I see as most correlating with me actually SEing.
You got to be okay with making a lot of trash because that NE also like with that countervalued NI or ignoring NI if you're an ENTP, if you were one, it's like you're not most of the things that you're gonna make are gonna be terrible probably, and that's okay.
That's a little strong. That's a little strong.
No, it's not.
Listen,
It's true.
no, INTP
You want me to
shit's
get
gonna
my
be less
guitar
terrible.
right
This stuff's gonna be less terrible. Okay.
It's because
It will
Okay.
be- that's one of the advantages of being INTP. You do less stuff, but the stuff you do is less terrible.
Compared to an ENTP, would that
Right,
be?
yeah.
you're
very
probably going to be
Okay.
more focused on fine tuning the things that you are doing, and sort of perfecting those instead of just saying, "Well, I gotta just start a new thing."
And is that because I'm more comfortable with? Isn't that because I'm more comfortable with SI than you guys would be?
Yeah. It's like you wouldn't fuck up that genealogy question like he did.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah, but
Especially
I've
after
noticed
he said
there is
he's not gonna
benefit
fuck it
to.
up.
Partway through, I forgot that I already said the thing.
All right, sorry,
It's,
John. I talked over you. What did you say?
I was going to say that I've observing Hosteric, I've noticed that there are some benefits to the different style of going more for quantity of observation instead of, I would say, more SI, more quality of observation. When you type people, you're more likely to go all over the place and miss a detail, but it doesn't necessarily matter because you're going to do 3 things more to try and find it, something like this.
Oh, that's interesting that you link it back to typing people like that.
It's not surprising though.
That's a good specific example and application kind of angle that I think clarifies it nicely. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would think stuck sometimes more than you guys would be, something like this,
So if
or
you're
tunnel vision or something like this.
Hold on.
if you're
sorry.
an INTP, then eventually
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
what's up?
Go ahead. Sorry, I'll deal with this.
if you are an INTP, then you're probably going to, or have already had a lot of problems with, staying with, identifying an INTP, or whatever, saying you're an INTP. You might kind of go all over the place with what type you think you are. Has that happened before?
But probably initially, I guess with that NE, I would just disbelieve the whole field of MBTI. It's too, I would say, it's too close to things that I usually try to fight against. But over time, I'm testing the theory of like, am I an INTP, and does this explanation fit with what I'm doing, and can I try to type others? Can I try to identify a function in others? and I guess over time I accept I guess the more boxed in definition of myself, and I find it interesting to be able to do that, and to it becomes like a game to put people in a box and myself, and trying to still verify and still learn if it holds water or not.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
but
think
it's
that's a very NTP-ish, especially INTP-ish approach to it. It's something that I think all NTPs come into with an initial skepticism and a sort of reflexive dismissal of.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a dismissal, but as soon as it turns into a game,
yeah,
we're all in.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
I get that.
it's
I totally get that.
Here's the thing.
Uh,
Whatever else you want to think about it, it's too powerful a lexicographical tool, which is to
yeah,
say you can use it to describe things that prior to using cognitive functions I didn't meaningfully describe, and that opens up a whole range of sort of analysis that otherwise wouldn't exist. And just for that purpose alone, it's incredibly valuable because we're talking about observing basic human how humans
cognition.
be, you know.
And did you initially read any book or something like this to get into it, or
Um,
um,
just mostly stuff on the internet. I read socionic stuff. I read BB stuff. I read, random stuff like that. I saw that there were these different angles of approach to it, and I decided to try to first I guess try to unify it, but then I realized
hmm,
this not unifiable because these things are just exclusive of each other, and this doesn't make sense. I mean, yeah. So I just sort of started to pick apart at it and try to figure out what was. I knew there had to be something accurate there because this taxonomy just sort of lands on fertile ground so neatly that it's got to represent something almost,
Mm.
no matter how much you want to ignore or countervalue introverted intuition, it just smacks of the truth.
yeah, I would say the same. And of out of all the systems, I've found that socionics is probably the most accurate, or something like that. And what would be your critique of that one?
It's more accurate than any alternatives that are conventionally accepted as alternatives. I think my
But
understanding of things is most accurate because it
And
has
your
a
understanding, you constructed yourself, or you derived from mainly one of those things, or
uh, well, I mean, it starts with different first principles, I guess. So it's hard to say it's derived exactly,
Mhm.
but I would say is more derived from socionics than other things. At least it acknowledges that the backslot functions have certain roles.
Mhm.
Like, for example, I use the same term for the sixth slot as socionics demonstrative. Um, I think that's a good name for it, and ignoring for the fifth, I think is a good name for it. But the main difference is I understand this as a way of modeling how agents move through fields and with objects, and
Mhm.
the information flow of the system. I don't misattribute uh, attentional manners to objects, which is one thing
that's
socionics does wrong.
exactly what I was about to say. That's
What is
where
that?
socionics is a little.
Well,
Mm.
yeah, socionics talks about information elements as having certain identities inherent to cognitive functions. That's not the case. In fact, cognitive functions are what carve out those identities of objects. That's what,
Yeah. Okay.
Cognitive
yeah.
functions exist in your brain.
So, but that's just one thing. It's like also I understand human existence to take place on four distinct fields: internal physical, internal metaphysical, external metaphysical.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah. That's interesting.
and we understand functions properly as ways of being that interact with those fields natively. And
How do
so,
you determine what is metaphysical and what is physical?
well, like this is a external metaphysical environment. In other words, all we're doing here is ideational work. We're not actually doing anything physical. We're not having any impact in the physical world except for metaphysical impacts, which is to say we're operating on the external metaphysical field. Now we have the internet like this. We have an actual external metaphysical field that's pretty much mirroring the fluidity and agent empoweringness of the physical field. before it was like a library. The library
Mhm.
was the metaphysical field, which is pretty limited ability of interactivity in that field. Um,
Mhm.
but the thing is, it's like extroverted intuitors are those who are designed to operate in this kind of an environment. This is the kind of
Mhm.
action that we do. So, extroverted intuition is the native action function to the external, well, necessarily to the metaphysical field, but it's external. That's why it's NE instead of an I guess. Uh, the interface functions, I think, are ways of kind of bridging internal field and external field stuff. But they're interactive in the sense that they assume what you're doing is changing responsively to what you're doing to it, and
Mhm.
so you can't be as deliberative. You have to go from a knowing action sort of interweave called interface. Um, the thing is, I think if you just evaluate the various models from sort of the ground up, right? You go like, this is what Eric's saying. This is how he's substantiating it. He's saying if you were to model it, you'd be able to model it because you have some sort of understanding of how the vectors interface with objects in the fields directionally from the agent, and and a bunch of other stuff that my way of understanding it makes the most sense. It's the most airtight debate case. If you're going to debate one of the models, you want to debate mine.
How do you like my ponytail here?
That's some kind of epic man bun. I don't know, man. You got some man bun going on there.
I'd I've been putting it up just so I can get it the fuck out of my face.
Why'd you cut it?
Yeah, I know. I've just been way too lazy to go get it
That's a
cut.
good reason.
It's a nice technique to avoid going to get a haircut, I would say.
Yeah, it works.
Okay. Any last thoughts here before we wrap this up?
Well, I would have
Anyway.
maybe some question if you would be willing to answer.
Yeah, sure.
So I was watching one of your video where you were actually describing the INTP, and you talked about all our function, I guess, being metaphysical, right?
Yeah, except
So
for
that would,
SI.
except for.
Except for SI. SI is a
Hmm.
physical function.
And how would you determine, like, if I let's say I picked the INFP, how would I go about determining if we talk about native planes? How do I know what's the INFP native plane? Is it physical or is
Yeah,
it
it's
metaphysical?
physical. The native plane of the INFP is physical. That is to say, they understand what happens in the world as impacting them directly in terms of their feelings about it. So it's like, um, if something doesn't go my way, but it's fair, I probably won't be very impacted by it because I'm blind to my caring about it regardless of fairness quality. That's the introverted feeling quality.
So is it because their first function is physical that their native plane is the physical?
Right. Yeah. That's right.
So that's
Because
the
the
okay,
the quote unquote
and I can apply that to all the types.
correct. And
Okay,
FI is the physical deliberation function. It
and
deliberates on value versus disinterest.
so do they have the other aspect of SC that they suck at compared to me then?
Oh well, that's a good question and one that I am still is still sort of unraveling for me. I haven't fully answered these questions about
Okay.
how the different aspects affect. Like for example, I I I feel as though my introverted feeling is more of an absolute value on a physical plane than on a metaphysical plane, and so I think that. But I could be wrong about that because I understand introverted feelings so badly. So,
Mhm.
Right. I think it's like
I'm not sure how the aspects work like that yet. And maybe somebody else will figure it out and not me. I don't know.
Okay, because that
what
was interesting because it
feeling.
was more deep than more splitting the function into aspect was more, let's say, even deeper than what the others would do.
Yeah, well, it doesn't create
feeling.
subtypes. Hold on, Isaiah. Let me helm the ship here, okay? It doesn't create subtypes either, which I think is important because I think subtypes are a big red herring in typology. It's tempting
Is
to
that
say
oh
It's tempting to
Okay.
say they're subtypes because you see different ENTPs behave somewhat differently. You can see
Yeah.
Isaiah Rude and I are both ENTPs, and yet we're not exactly the same kind of ENTP. There's some differences between us. You know,
Isn't that isn't that because it just always expressed itself differently in the particular,
right?
but the archetype is true, something like this?
Yeah, there's going to be variation implicit because of particular experiences. And
Yeah.
presumably, the types that are least deviant from each other, in other words, that are most similar to other versions of their own type, other instances of their own type, are those with SI polar. So, ENTJs are most like other ENTJs.
Okay,
Whereas,
yeah.
for example, somebody like and ISTJs can be quite different from each other in a lot of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
ISTJs can be very different in their displays.
Yeah.
But in terms of display, anyway, your ENTJs and ENFJs are going to be most similar to each other. They're kind of easier to spot than other types.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's helpful. I actually was like kind of wondering, like, because me and my brother were talking about that yesterday, like what sort of types would be least and most varying from each other. I guess that answers the question pretty well.
But here's the thing: it's not just SI, because I actually find there's probably the absolute most variance, or it may be because of my polar that I think this, but I think there's the most variance in INFPs. But it may be because I can't see the way that FI displays a similarity across them because I'm not good at recognizing FI. So these are the sort of questions I have trouble answering because I'm an SI user. I look to my own experience a lot to generalize out from that. And I'm also a TI user, though, so I recognize when that's not really going to be helpful.
Yeah. And I was watching another channel called NT Support. Was 4 guys talking, and they were talking about that your brain actually confuses your blind spot for your 4 function. What do you think about that?
I agree with that.
You agree?
All the
Okay.
time. Like, I note this all the time. The way that my FI turns into SI in various ways. FI is always converting to SI.
I had one experience like this one where I asked an ENFP for a logical explanation, and she told me, "Here is where I learned from experience." She didn't give me a logical explanation at all, and I was like, "Okay, maybe there is some truth to that thing then."
I think that's a good observation, and it would be a good idea to make a video just on that topic because I think it's right on the money.
And where did they learn that thing? Do you know?
I don't know. I mean, the thing is, people come across observations that ring as true to them, and then they repeat them. For most people, those observations that ring as true don't need to fit into any kind of logical framework to be presented as true. They ring as true.
Yeah.
I present them as true. That's it.
I don't like that.
You don't like that?
Well, yeah.
That you're an INTP. Okay, you just shut the door on the case. Any other questions or thoughts?
I think. Oh yeah, another one. I guess it's no, it would be my last one. You said that NI might be a strong function in INTPs, right?
Mm-hmm.
But TE is weak in ENTPs. I actually, from a systemic point of view, I actually don't. Why do you think that could be? Even though if you look at the system, it would make sense.
Because
That
1, 2,
ENTPs
6.
are-
Because 1, 2, 6 in INTPs are all metaphysical, whereas 1, 2, 3 in ENTPs are all metaphysical. Which means ENTPs prioritize their 3 over their 6 more than INTPs prioritize their 3 over their 6. Your 6 being extroverted as well is going to be, I mean, my 6 being extroverted is going to be more in competition with my 3rd directly. But I guess the same thing is true with your introverted ones. The point is, your NI is in conformity with your 1 and 2, whereas my TE is in conflict with my 1 and 2.
And we have a much more general relationship with our NI in the 5th slot than you do with it in the 6th slot, I'd say. We have a more comfortable relationship with it. We find it like, NI, like,
It's juicy.
you know what I mean?
But
It's
for you guys,
more,
it's the answer people don't want to hear.
yeah.
Okay.
You
And
know what I'm saying?
I was thinking that that's the reason they call.
INTPs,
Yeah.
their 5th slot, they almost sort of have it almost is kind of like sixth slot a lot of the time.
Well,
With
the
the way
TE.
they behave with
Here's
TE.
how you see how your TE fifths comes out. If you watch me try to hang something up onto a wall, you'll get extremely frustrated and go, just let me do that.
Hmm.
Because you'll see I'm doing it stupid. And believe me, I will be doing it stupidly. I will,
Because
for sure.
I was thinking that that's why they call them quasi-identical, right? All the P and the G's, because they actually have none of the function in commons, but they have the same strength of function. That would be the reasoning why they are called quasi-identical, and you guys would be with E and
That's
TJs because you have strong NE and strong TE, but you don't
or
agree with that.
they're both demonstrative in some sense. So in other words, we're both demonstrating to the world those two functions. However, we're valuing them differently.
Yeah.
I've demonstrated extroverted intuition as the thing you should take away, and extroverted thinking is the thing I have to give you, and it's vice versa for ENTJs.
So do you agree with this one, or do you
I don't agree that with
turn
the
away?
name quasi-identicals. So that's what you're asking. Should they be called quasi-identicals? Well, I mean, it's not, I
No,
guess, a terrible name.
No, I mean
Probably the
would be the
reasoning is
reason
different.
that they're called quasi-identical because actually you guys' TE is countervalued but strong.
Demonstrative. See, I don't like strong. I don't like
Strong?
strong and weak. I go with demonstrative because TE is demonstrative, but it's not. It's not strong. We can. I mean, we can be good at it when we're demonstrating it in the world. That is to say, by other people's metrics, we can be good at it. In other words, you think I solved your problem, good enough. Note what I'm not ever doing. I'm not solving my own problems.
Okay, so you mean you're good at it for other people?
Yeah. Same with NI and you. You're good at the truth for other people. When it comes to yourself, no. We need more thinking. That truth
Yeah.
is not. I don't know if that truth is too confining for me. That truth is appropriate for you, but for me, I need to do more thinking and ideating about it.
I can't follow my own plans basically anyway, so
Yeah, there you
that would
go.
be the yeah.
All
Okay.
right. So,
And very interesting. Thank you.
thank you very much. And before we go, do you have any preference as to whether we publish this or not?
If you guys want to publish this, I have no problem with it.
Thank you. We appreciate it. And those of you who viewed it at home, if you disagree or agree or whatever that this guy's INTP or not, go ahead and put it in the comments. I know everybody's got, you know what they say about opinions. They're like hearts. Everybody has one. The
No,
end.
I'm gonna be okay.